Hi, my name is Alex. I'm new to uploading videos to the Cardfight channel. When I filmed this, I actually had too much background noise to deal with, so I'm re-commentating our little cardfight here. On the left, we have Dustin running his Oracle Think Tank Beatdown deck. On the right, who's gonna say hi in a moment here, we have Quinton running his Majesty Lord Blaster. And they're going at it in the final match of the tournament. It's 1-1 right now out of 3 rounds. Ooh, it is a close match. So we take a look at people's hands. See that Dustin has 4 triggers and Quinton had, I believe, 2 grade 2s at this point. The two do like to take their time shuffling ever since they learned that when you tap or cut, you can also shuffle your opponent's decks. I mean, obviously after the 3rd round, they're tired, they don't want to just shuffle everyone's decks. Quinton obviously does. So, a little quick note, that mat on the left, the Pokemon Black and White, that was originally mine, but after getting the Perfect Riser mat and the MLB promo mat, I just decided to trade it to him for a Blaster Blade that I needed because I only had 3 at the time. So our match is finally getting underway at this point. You can see that Dustin is apparently going to get grade stuck at 2. Quinton's only grade 1 is a Black Sage Charon. That means he cannot pull back Vangaurd Brave. The writing on the card states it must be ridden by a Royal Paladin. That is part of the problem of running Charon and Marin. And the card Quinton just damage checked was actually Little Sage Marin, so ouch. Now you saw earlier that Dustin had a 10,000 shield and he decided not to guard this. Granted, because it's early in the game, but he still had time to get the appropriate amount of damage that he needed. Now as you can see, he put Coco behind Silent Tom. He only needs 14,000 as shields are in 5,000 increments. Many will remember that you can't guard Silent Tom with grade 0s, which are the majority of shield. Now we see Quinton grade stuck in 2, and slapping down a 10k shield as a booster, risky maneuver for Quinton, but he needs to make a hit right now. Draw trigger for Dustin. One of the main powers of the Oracle Think Tank clan is the ability to increase your hand size. And we see Dustin did not end up getting grade stuck at 2. Little tip about using cards like Weather Girl Milk. The fact is, if you do get your hand size up to 4 with your twin drive, it does still get the boost. You can actually look this up. The card is the same as CEO Amaterasu, and Quinton top decking his Majesty Lord Blaster. At this point, I believe Quinton only has 1 in his entire deck. He also managed to pull out a Blaster Dark, needed for Majesty Lord Blaster's ultimate attack. Now Dustin, I believe he just guarded his rear guard, not that important right now. Kind of a waste of Dustin's critical trigger at that point since he did have an ulti guard in hand, but that's not something he could control. Now at this point, Quinton has no field, but he does have a 12k defender. Still, with Meteor Break Wizard's effect and Weather Girl Milk's effect, it could easily be a 15k guard at minimum, but at this point Quinton only had about 3 damage. He decided to go for the guard. And had Dustin decided to counterblast at that point, he would have hit with his meter break wizard. Quinton now realizing that Paladins would have been better in the rear guard due to Paladins' effect that when there are 2 grade 3s counting himself, he becomes a 13k attacker. And the Oracle Think Tank clan only has one 11k Vanguard that Dustin doesn't have. Critical trigger. Critical trigger. Now you may see this as just a lucky break on Quinton's half, but Dustin actually won the last game with double criticals. Quinton double checking the shield, making sure he does in fact have 25 guarding with. And we see the first appearance of Scarlet Witch Coco. Dustin slapping down Lozenge Magus, a heal trigger, able to go back into the deck. Quinton counting criticals. That drive check, it doesn't appear that Dustin has sufficient guard for this battle. Quinton's only card in hand, a flash shield assault. Perfect guard, but you do need a hand size larger than 1 to use it. Obviously with twin drive you'll get that hand size. Quinton now counting critical triggers, not realizing that at 2 crits he really should guard this attack. Dustin also did not realize that even if Quinton hadn't criticaled right there, any trigger would have gone through and he'd be banking on a heal, which he did not get. Quinton now debating what to guard with. He decides to ulti using his Gancelot, leaving his blaster blade in hand. Dustin, I believe, drive checked to Coco, something he's not able to use if he rides it. And little note, Quinton at 5 damage when he pulls his heal trigger, known as a miracle trigger, which causes him to interrupt my later card fight. And the only reason why Quinton walked away champion of this tournament. Oh, spoiler alert, Quinton does win this. Not that any of you couldn't tell. At this point, Quinton pulls off a Star Call Blaster Blade combo, and I point out to him that he actually could have retired the Coco and attacked the Mocha. It would have depleted the same amount of shield either way, but less rear guards to use. 1 to pass on Majesty Lord Blaster, no 1, but it doesn't matter as you would need 2 cards to guard Paladins at this point, which Dustin didn't have. No miracle trigger for Dustin, and we end our game.